Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the overnight action here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick from the Cusick Group, securities provided by MoneyBlock. And we are going to take a look at the overnight markets. Now, it's been very interesting. It looks like the rally is going to continue post the Trump victory. So it looks like the equity indexes in the Pacific Rim are still taking kindly to the newly elected president. Taking a look at the Japanese Nikkei, right now it's surged about 6.7%. To put that into context, last night they had closed down 5%. So not only have we retraced and erased all of the decline from last night, they're actually positive now for the last 2 days, up 1.7% if you look at the two-day action. So it's absolutely incredible. All 10 sectors in the Nikkei finished up higher, with financials leading the way up 8.4%, materials up 7.6%, and healthcare was up about 7.3%. You saw names like Yogawa Electric, Sumoto Mutishi Trust, as well as Mitsubishi Materials, Alps Electric, all post gains between 10% and 12.9%. So you're seeing a variety of different finance and material plays that are really on the move. This could be a global tide that you're starting to see happen, where there is going to be different types of, let's say, different approaches to how they're going to stimulate growth. But the important factor is that we're seeing globally that the focus is now turning to, let's improve infrastructure, let's get our financial houses in order. So you're hearing this, you're hearing it from finance ministers, you're hearing it, actually heard that out of France, which we'll get into in a little bit. But again, you're hearing a tone that's now going to reverberate around the globe. You're hearing it here in the United States. So it's definitely going to be a tide that we're going to watch. EWJ is the ETF that we watch here at MarketStream.live to track the Japanese stocks during the trading day here in the U.S. It finished the day yesterday at 49.39, down about 0.8%. So we're going to look to see if it rebounds. It looks like right now the options are pricing in for the potential of the stock to move either up or down about $1.05. Vol is being run, implied volatility on those options is being run at 17%. Just to give you context, over the last 52 weeks, 17% is on the lower range. It's in the 16th percentile as far as rank. So it's very low, not a heightened sense of huge, violent moves. So we'll see if a trend starts to establish here. In Hong Kong's Hang Seng, it did surrender about 2% overnight. The general weakness came from financials. You saw China Construction Bank, ICBC Bank of Communications, as well as Bank of China all lose between 2.6% and 2.8%. So we continue to see weakness in the financials in Hong Kong, and we're also keeping an eye on the housing and construction names. Want to see if those start to continue to fall under pressure due to the fact that there seems to be some concern that the Chinese government is going to impart some sort of increased duty on home purchases. So we're going to watch that very closely. The EWH is the ETF that tracks the Hong Kong stocks. It went out last night at 21.01 here in the United States, down about 1.5%, 1.45%. Right now, the options are pricing in the potential for it to move over the next couple of weeks of around 52 cents, either up or down in the stock. Excuse me. Vol is relatively inexpensive, running around 20%. 20%. That's mid-range, so still not a huge pop in volatility, even post the Trump victory. China's Shanghai Composite, though, that rallied about 1.9%. All but two components were in the green in the Shanghai Composite. Financials led the way. You had CITIC Pacific, BOC Hong Kong, HSBC, Bank of East Asia, all gaining between 1.9% and 4.2%. Asher, which is the ETF that we would look at here in the United States and trades during our market hours, it went out last night at 24.90, down about 0.3%, rallied back post the election results. The options are pricing in the potential for Asher to move either up or down about 64 cents. Implied volatility is at around 20, which is on the lowest end of the range at 9% as far as rank. So not a heightened sense of huge big moves in that market and in that ETF. India, relatively quiet. Saw that it did advance about 1%. Tata Steel surged about 9.3%. Also saw the financials, the State Bank of India, as well as Coal India, ICICI Bank move, Axis Bank, all climbed between 3.9% and 8.4%. Asian Paints, though, did fall about 3.5%. EPI, the ETF we watch that tracks Indian stocks, went out at 2104. Looks like it finished the day yesterday around up 0.4%, almost 0.5%. The options are pricing in the potential to move, excuse me, about 75 cents either up or down in the stock. It is getting in the upper end of the implied volatility rank at running of IV at 23 on the ETF's options. Keep an eye on that. If we start to see implied volatility rise in EPI in this ETF that tracks Indian stocks, we could see some potential volatility rear its head. Want to take a look at that. It's also an opportunity if you are long this particular ETF, you might look for some strategies to take advantage of the volatility, maybe selling some premium against your long strategies like in, for example, a covered call. Taking a look at the European indices across the board, looking for the fourth consecutive day of gains. Right now, you're seeing that the gains that in the equity markets overseas in Europe right now are being spurned by the fact that the foreign exchange markets across the board, the currencies against the U.S. dollar are down. The euro is right now, trading down about 0.3% at about 108.76. And you have the British pound trading at right around 124.12, which is little changed right now from the dollar action, the dollar pound action that we saw yesterday. So we're going to keep an eye and see if the currency weakness across the globe against the U.S. dollar, which was very strong yesterday, continues. Excuse me. The German DAX has climbed about 0.7%. We have Deutsche Bank and Commerzbank. They're pacing the move. We saw that yesterday. We continue to see those financials are leading the charge. They both were up about 6.4% and about a little over 5% respectively. We're going to keep an eye on that throughout the day. Heavyweight Siemens, Lufthansa, and BASF all outperformed, adding between 1.1% and 4.2%. EWG, ETF that tracks German stocks, it finished the day yesterday at 25.65, up about, it was negligible, almost flat. They're pricing in the potential for the underlying to move about 60 cents either up or down. Vol is relatively inexpensive in the options that I was taking a look to determine that estimated move right around 19%, which is on the lower third of the IV rank scale. Taking a look at the UK FTSE, up about 0.7%. Financials again displaying relative strength. You have Prudential, RBS, Barclays, Standard Chartered, as well as Standard Life's and Lloyd's Banking, all up between 3.3% and 7.4%. Select consumer names, though, are still lagging. Imperial Brands, Unilever, British American Tobacco, and Morrison Supermarkets are down between 2% and 3.5%. EWU is the ETF we're going to watch here in the States, trading in right around 30.39. That's where it went out last night, up about 1.27%. Options are pricing in the potential to move about plus or minus 73 cents in the stock. Vol is really cheap. The IV is running at 19, which is at 2% on the IV rank, so it's on the bottom of the scale. Finally, taking a look at the French CAC. The French CAC trades up about 1%. Vivendi leads the way, jumping about 9.6%. They beat on earnings estimates. Financials are also trading in the green ahead of with large market names that we've talked about: Credit Agricole, BNP Paribas, Societe Generale, and AXA, all up between 1.3% and 4.7%. So we continue to see that financials, our materials, and other names, similar names that we see that are moving here in the United States post the Trump election win, continue to move to the upside. we do see that the action is continuing here in the United States in the pre-market. We have the S&Ps as well as the NASDAQ and the Russell 2000 all firmly up. You are also seeing something interesting in global bond markets as well as bond markets here in the U.S. Yields are up enormously. You continue to see that the German Bund is up almost 8 basis points. You continue to see that the U.S. Longer end of the curve, the 10-year and the 30-year, the 10-year move yesterday was unbelievable, up 22 basis points. A couple other notes that I want to point out. Last night we talked in Tech Talk about some earnings movers pre-market. We're going to get into it a little bit more in the opening bell. But just as a note, for those of you that did tune into Tech Talk, you wanted to see what was going on. Soda, Ralph Lauren, Kohl's, and Koch Corporation all released earnings. Currently, right now, Soda is trading right around between the last price is right around $32.64. Looks like it's going to be the opening bid. Ralph Lauren is trading in a range, probably going to be somewhere around 103. Kohl's, which went out at 45.70, is now looking like it's going to open up above 48.56. And Koch Corporation, the bid-ask spread went extremely wide. It went out at 13.19, so we'll wait and see. The estimated move in Soda and Kohl's alone that we were talking about in the stock was roughly around $3 and some change. Both those stocks are up $3. Now, when I give an estimated move, when I'm talking about this in these updates, there is no directional bias. That's why I say plus minus. But it's very interesting that the options priced in the potential to move $3+, and you're seeing that the stocks are actually staying within that range. When they extend beyond those ranges, that means that there was something that we just couldn't anticipate happening. So it's very interesting how efficiently and how it offers a transparency of potential future moves in the underlying. So stay tuned. Come back. We're going to talk about these stocks and much more on what's hot on the open at 9:30 Eastern time. So come back in about 45 minutes, and we're going to talk more. All right, see you then. Till then, have a great rest of the trading day, and we'll talk to you soon.